This is Listen After Watching,
a podcast where we recap and discuss the most mind-bending, twisty, and thought-provoking TV shows and movies out there. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Alicia. Let's dive in.
Hello, y'all, and welcome to Listen After Watching, your favorite sibling podcast, where we try to remember what we watched last night and talk about it.
Which is harder than it sounds, everyone, okay? This is not an easy job. I'm watching a lot of things right now. Are you?
Me too. Yeah. So Survivor just started back. Have you watched the first episode?
No, we'll probably watch it tonight.
And we're watching Traitors, which I think you guys are watching too. And of course, we're watching Severance.
Watching The White Lotus. And, you know, what's really throwing a wrench in the works is Love is Blind.
Yes. And they're dastardly batch releasing the episodes on the weekends.
I know.
Like,
it's
give
bizarre.
it to us in the middle of the week when we have nothing to do.
True. I know.
Respect our time. How have you been, Leash? How's your week going?
I've been pretty good. Trying to get outside and walk more. The weather's been nice. I went out for a little walk with Luna earlier today at lunch. That was great. It really just, you know, they say that getting out in nature and walking is like good for your mental health or whatever. And unfortunately, they're right.
Yeah, it's too bad. I'm doing the same thing. I have gone for a walk every day this week so far. It's only the second day, but still.
Hey, every
patting
day.
myself on the back. But yeah, oh my God, when I was walking today, I was like, the tides are turning. We are about to be in shorts weather, hanging outside with a drink weather.
My gosh, I can't wait. If for those who suffer from seasonal depression, I think probably everyone does a little bit, you know. We're emerging from the darkness.
Yes, thank goodness. Thank goodness. And you know what? Oh my God, I got great news just before we started recording this.
What?
I don't have to report to jury duty in the morning.
Oh, yay. Oh my gosh. So the way they do it in Virginia is so weird. You like have to call every Tuesday for a month to see if you need to go in the next day.
Yeah, it's very strange. You don't know if you're going to have jury duty for the entire month, but you might, and you don't find out until the night before. So it's very strange. I'm hoping I get really lucky and I keep hearing that I don't have to come in. We'll see.
Hey. I'll pray for that for you.
Thank you. Speaking of guilty and innocent, we have a great episode to get into.
Seamless transition
Trying to
always.
segue. That was a great segue.
Yeah, we're super excited to talk about The White Lotus, episode 3. So this is your spoiler alert. If you haven't watched episode 3, what are you doing here? Go watch. It's called The Meaning of Dreams, and come back and listen to what we have to say about it.
All right, well, let's jump right into this episode, starting with the top of our list of suspects, the girls' trip. So the girls have a day of yoga and energy healing. At dinner, Kate admits that her husband voted for Donald J. Trump and that she herself is an independent. Later, Kate watches Jacqueline and Lori laughing and gossiping about her marriage and political views.
Ooh, the girls' trip gets messy.
Messier. I was waiting for, so we saw every other pairing, and I was waiting for the pairing where the two girls are talking about Kate. In this episode, we got it. And man, is it a doozy.
I know. Well, it's like so, reflective of like, friends that you're not like super close with, that you don't really talk about these things with very often, but you just kind of like see yourselves as really good friends because you've known each other a long time. Like for them to be so disconnected, to not even know like a line politically, especially with something like this, like we're not talking about, a governor's race or like mayor or whatever. We're talking about one of the worst politicians we've ever seen.
I know.
Ugh.
Yeah, the fact that they don't know this about her is huge. Like, that's
Yep.
how far they've kind of grown apart, or, yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
haven't been involved in each other's lives deeply. I do think, though, this was kind of a different discovery or thing to gossip about than a lot of the other things that they've been talking about, which are
Totally.
like, oh, she's had a divorce, or she's dealing with this or going through that. This is like
Mm-hmm.
a just a way you see the world and a disagreeing on morals,
Right. Totally.
on what you think and believe is right. So I'm really interested to see how their dynamic changes with this discovery, because this is just categorically very different from the other things that they've talked about.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's why it made sense to save Kate for this episode and not have that kind of gossip segment in the last one. Like this, I think will probably break them apart a little bit more than some of the other stuff that they were gossiping about. So,
And I
Kate.
wonder, I know, I wonder if they keep hinting at like trying to hook up with, what's his name? Valentine.
Mm,
So I wonder if he's gonna play a role in like the rift that's forming between them.
maybe.
We shall see.
Ooh.
His Reiki might touch them after all.
Ugh, nasty. Well, let's talk about our next crew, everyone's favorite family, the Ratliffs. So Victoria wakes from a dream about walking toward a tumultuous ocean as Timothy takes a call about the FBI visiting his office back home. Then at breakfast, Victoria shares her dream and Piper interprets it as a warning. Later, Lachlan attends a posture correction session where the therapist sees right through him and questions if he struggles with assertiveness due to his dominant family members. We also see Piper visit a Buddhist temple, and she's considering their summer program.
Yeah, things are devolving even further with Timothy's legal issues, which he still has not shared with anyone, including his wife, to our frustration. But Victoria's dream was really interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like by the sea, but it was their home from North Carolina. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Lachlan's sitting like off in the distance and says, "This is what it looks like before a tsunami." And then she's just
Mm-hmm.
like, I think it's like the people from the resort too, resort workers, like wrap her in a blanket, and she's just walking into this
Yeah.
giant wave.
Yeah. Yeah. People have also pointed out that there are two people, also resort workers, I think, sitting on either side of Lachlan. And they've said that they're like the trans people, or as they call them, lady boys, that were in the last episode, I think. And there's also in Lachlan's session, people are saying like, you know, he's like guarding with his feminine side when he has one leg crossed over the other. And then also talking about how Lachlan is kind of like torn between his siblings, one being a man, one being a woman, and like his loyalties to them or like, his friendships with them. And then also between his parents with like which college he's going to go to because he has to decide on that. And people are theorizing that Lachlan may be questioning his gender identity a little bit. So I thought that was an interesting take, and it seems to make sense with all of the clues that we're getting.
That does make a lot of sense. And I think a lot of people just like on the face are thinking he's questioning his sexuality, but there are a lot of hints towards him questioning his gender identity or just, I don't know, yeah, being torn two different ways. There's like his brother trying to force feed him protein shakes, and then this strange posture therapy session, which I've never heard of before in my life, but apparently they offered at the White Lotus.
It's like they made it up just because Timothy was like, do you have anything for posture?
Yeah, they're like, sure. They're like, hey, you got to go do this thing. Just tell him to
Some
sit
random
up straight.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how his character evolves. I don't know. He's kind of a mystery to me so far.
Same, yeah.
One of the interesting parts of this episode that I think is going to result in a giant conflict later is Timothy, in order to get his son from stopping taking phone calls.
You got there.
In order to get his son to stop taking phone calls from back home, which are obviously incriminating and about things that he doesn't want the family to know about, he agrees to put all of their phones and computers and electronics in Pam? Val?
In Pam. I don't know her
Pam.
name.
Pam, open up, baby. In Pam's bag.
Pam.
Her
Yeah.
bag. So I don't know how this is going to work out for him, because the last we heard, I think it was his lawyer is like, just wait, let me do my job, find out what's going on, and then I will let you know. So he's doing the wait part, but I don't know how he's going to get the let me know part.
I feel like he did that, but then he's going to try and get his phone back.
Yeah, I think that's
You know.
what's going to result in, drama ensues.
Yeah, drama ensues. Yep.
Shooting ensues.
Another thing that happens between the family could be nothing. I don't know. Victoria's like telling Timothy to take a lorazepam because she's like, you're so stressed out. She's like, just take one. I take them all
really
the
good.
time. I love her accent. She's so funny.
I do too. I could watch her talk the whole episode.
I know. But he gives in and he's like, all right, I'll take one. And then he just like sleeps the rest of the day and then wakes up like later that night. I think the family's out at dinner or something, and he finds more and takes them to fall asleep. So I don't know if this is hinting at like he's maybe picking up a habit or something, or if it's just like or if it's something else. I don't know. But
Yeah, it's definitely going to play a part in the story. Either he's going to do some crazy, like, drugged out thing to, like, get his phone back, or, like, do something really dramatic where he tells everyone what's going on and doesn't even realize it.
right, yeah.
Or he's just going to be sleeping and miss something really important.
Right. Yes. I think you're right. I believe that either one of those things could happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him taking some pills and sleeping through like the whole family finding out and shit just hitting the fan, like the whole tsunami coming. All the
Right.
tsunami imagery, like obviously we think the tsunami is probably this giant whatever legal action that's coming for them and the family that could take them out that no one so far knows except for Timothy.
Right.
So yeah, he might just sleep through that. We'll see.
That'd be crazy. I guess the last thing to mention about the Ratliffs is that Piper goes to the temple and talks with the secretary monk about seeing another monk. And we already knew that she like hadn't set this up ahead of time. We were like, why wouldn't she like reach out to this guy beforehand to schedule this important conversation that, her thesis is relying on. But she asks about joining, I think, their summer program. And so people are wondering if she's like maybe just needed a means to get to Thailand to then enroll and like is going to kind of stay there or something. But she also could be doing her thesis for all we know on the program that she wants to take. So we don't really know, but she's really the only family member or person at this resort who seems to be interested or giving us a window into the Thai culture a little bit more beyond the resort walls.
Yeah. Yeah, she even speaks a little Thai to the secretary monk.
I was like,
She knows.
I ain't never been to a temple where there's a secretary monk.
I know. I was like, thank God you came during office hours. Like, this guy's just waiting here
On my MacBook.
at a desk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not available today. Let me see. How's Friday? Well, let's leave the Ratliff train because I'm sick of that. Let's talk about the staff. So this episode, Guy Talk deals with humiliation from Jim's guards, who imply he's incompetent and tell him that the resort manager, Fabian, wants him fired, but Sritala has been protecting him. This episode also, Belinda approaches Greg's table at dinner, saying that she recognized him from the White Lotus Resort in Maui. Uh-oh. So she questions his identity, mentioning his relationship with Tanya, which he denies.
Wow. So it's confirmed this is not a prequel or whatever you want to call it to season 1. This is actually following season 2. But like how quickly we see a conversation between Belinda and Greg. I was a little surprised.
I know. Well, I was hoping so because I was like, if she recognizes him, she has to do something about it. I was surprised she didn't last episode, but maybe she was like letting it sink in. But thank God, like we needed this to happen. I need to know whether to call him Greg or Gary, to be honest. That's like the biggest question I have.
I can't keep up. There's too many names across the board, so
I know. And this guy has 2, which is too many. I will say I am a little bummed that the timeline is just, a straight.
normal.
This is after season 2.
Yeah.
I wanted to mix it up a little bit, be shocked, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Obviously, at the end of the episode, Belinda is walked home by Porn Chai and then hears something maybe or sees something in her suite. And my first thought is, oh, that's Gary Gregg.
Yeah, I think that was my first thought too. But then looking around online, so people were like, was I supposed to see something or was I hearing something? Like I couldn't tell. And you do hear a sound, and people are saying like, oh, it could be like there's been some like lizard imagery and conversation or like symbolism around Belinda, like she was afraid of that big lizard that was on the path in the first episode. And then I think Panchai says something like about lizards in that moment, like soon they'll be your friends or something. So people are wondering if like, I think they also show lizards like in the transition after that or something. But anyway, people are saying lizards. People are saying maybe she's just on high alert because she had that conversation with Gary. So I don't know.
I've also heard maybe it's her son who's arrived, who's like already there and she doesn't know that. They haven't talked about her son at all.
Well, she had a call with him in the first episode when she got there, but that's all we've seen.
Yeah, since then, I mean, he's the first person we see in this season, so I'm like waiting for him to arrive, see what happens with that. But things are heating up between Belinda and Pornchai.
I know. It was so funny. She was like, "Is that a Thai expression?" Like,
He's like,
I'll.
no, that's off the dome, baby.
He was like, "I thought I had good game, but I guess I don't."
Does not translate.
And he was so cute when he was walking away. He was like, "Tipsy, tipsy."
I know. He's actually really cute. But also,
I
I'm
know.
like, this is a little inappropriate. This is
Yes,
supposed to be for
definitely.
work. But she also seems into it, so I don't know. I think she's going to
Yeah,
have to lead the way on that one.
I hope she does.
But poor guy Talk.
Bullies. They're
He's too
bullying
sweet for
my
this
boy.
world.
I
I
know.
know. These hooligans.
Oh, I just feel so bad for him. And then we see, like near the end of the episode, I guess his supervisor maybe comes up to him and is like, "Fabian wants to have a meeting with you tomorrow morning." So I thought maybe the gym's guards were just like bullying him, and maybe they are. Maybe it's about something else. But yeah, I'm like, I don't want him to get in trouble.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping it was going to be like looking into the robbery, well, the meeting.
True, it could be that.
But I don't know. I think bad things are coming for Guy Talk. But, and we didn't see much of Mook this episode, unfortunately.
No, no, she had a short conversation with Guy Talk about. He was like, I talked to Sitala and I told her I could be a bodyguard. It
That
was it
was
was
so
cute.
cute. I know. He was like, I gotta tell you something.
He's like, "Hey, stop talking to your friends. I have something to say."
I told her I could be a bodyguard. Yeah, that was really cute, actually. And then he gets bullied, so that was sad.
Womp womp.
So many womp wahs happening.
I know. All right, let's move on to our last group of suspects, the outlaws. Rick approaches Sitala at the restaurant, posing as a producer and offering her a project, which Chelsea finds suspicious. Then later that day, Rick goes out to buy weed because he's stressed out. And he and Chelsea come across a snake show. And under the influence, Rick impulsively frees all these venomous snakes from their terrariums. And what would you know? Chelsea is bitten and rushed to the hospital. This was
What
so
the
crazy.
hell?
Rick
This
was
guy's
wild this
nutso.
episode.
I know. Ugh, Rick. Something had to have happened in his life to set him off to be this stressed out because there's no way he made it this long living like this. Like he's so like acutely stressed out about this situation with Jim and finding him or whatever we think. Like something had to have happened. I really want to see the backstory of why they're on this trip and like what set it off, you know?
Me too. Yeah. Rick and Chelsea have some interesting conversations that led me to believe, and others online, that I think I just assumed that their relationship was probably new, because she's like so young and he's so not. And I think like from their conversations, she's like, "I'm your life partner." She like says that to him. And I think like she says a couple other things like, "When are we going to have fun again?" And like, "Why are you so stressed?" Like she's noticing he's more stressed than usual. This is not like the normal thing for him. So I think they've been together longer than maybe I and others initially thought.
I love that she's always trying to convince him that she's her life partner and like this is serious and like
I know.
he's just like he has one thing on his mind and it's whatever this thing is that he has to do or thinks he has to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, him releasing the snakes, I just feel like was a direct representation of like what he wants to happen to him.
Yes.
He needs to be freed or be at peace from this thing that's causing him all this anguish. And he like saw himself in these snakes.
Right. Yeah, I think we get some of that too from his second meditation slash therapy session, that he feels like he's maybe beyond repair in a way, or that he's misjudged because he's done a lot of bad things, and that he thinks he might not be capable of, being good or feeling any kind of relief from that. But yeah, what a direct metaphor. He feels pity for these snakes. Ugh.
I know. And if that's the direct metaphor, then whatever he's trying to do to find this freedom is going to potentially kill Chelsea or have a bad effect on Chelsea.
I know. As she says, she had 2 brushes with death in 2 days.
Not good. Not good.
Not looking great.
That's 1 to 2 too many. But do you have any theories on, we've talked about this, people think he's a hitman going for Sweetala's husband, Jim. Maybe this episode he hinted at, maybe he's trying to get revenge for his dad's death. What are your thoughts at this point?
Man, I really don't know what he's up to. I've also seen people say that maybe he is his dad.
Wait, oh, Jim.
Maybe Jim is his dad.
Oh, that was my initial thought. I thought, oh, he said his dad died, but he didn't actually die.
Yeah,
So
I think that's possible.
Yeah. I think so too. I don't know. I think it's not going to be what we're expecting. It's not going to be straightforward.
Probably not. And but I think it definitely has to do with his childhood in some way. They wouldn't be telling us all of that if not for some kind of payoff.
Yeah, agreed.
We see with Chloe, who is Greg's girlfriend, that she is kind of flirting, not kind of, but definitely flirting with Saxon. And
Gross.
she even invites Saxon and the rest of his family onto this boat ride that they're going on tomorrow. And Chelsea's supposed to go on too. And I'm guessing Rick will be in Bangkok. But yeah, I really don't like what is happening between Chloe and Saxon. And people are saying that, I clocked this too in, I guess it was the first episode. Chelsea and Chloe are chatting and Saxon, walks by, whatever. And she's like, he's such a douche. His comes from a family of wankers. And Chloe is like, interesting. And she's like typing something on her phone. She's like, oh yeah. And it looks like something you would do when someone's like, I wonder what the distance is to the sun. And you're like, you immediately pick up your phone because you're looking it up or something, Like, I feel like there's maybe some scheme that Chloe is trying to pull on the Ratliffs.
Yeah, Chloe seems like she definitely could be some kind of grifter. And even like when she's flirting with Saxon at dinner, Greg notices it completely. And he just kind of like takes a sip of his drink and just like, this is life. So he might be in on it, or he might just know how Chloe is and like that she's going to do what she's going to do. I don't know, but honestly, I'm kind of dreading this boat ride because I know it's going to be uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And what an odd group of people to get together.
So bad. So bad.
Well, any final thoughts on our suspects?
I am not any closer to figuring out who is shooting the gun. My money's still on the monkeys, I think.
I'm still betting on the monkeys, too. And people are complaining that the season is a little slow.
Yeah.
And frankly, I get where they're coming from, but I know that it's worth the ride.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta hang in
agree.
there.
I understand how people are feeling like we're kind of inching along here. We kind of didn't learn a lot of new things about the characters this week. But if there's one thing we know about the White Lotus is that it always pays off. So we got to stick it with it, y'all. We got to
Stick with it.
deal with these horrible people for a little while longer.
And some of
Until
them
one of
will
them
probably
dies.
die. Yeah, exactly. Well, we have a very special treat today because we texted our mom and said, "Can we call you?" So we're going to call her now and just ask her some questions about the season so far. Maybe we'll have some more specific questions as we go on, but, you know, she's maybe new to the fame of being on a podcast, so we want to ease her in.
I can't wait to see how this goes. We have no idea how this is going to go, but we're going to try it.
All right. You tell me if you can hear this.
Okay. Is it on speaker?
Hello. Hi, babe.
Hi, Mom. What you doing?
Pick some soup. I'll send a picture for you later.
Perfect. Do you have a minute for me to ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, so we're recording you for the podcast. Why don't you tell us your name and who you are?
My name is Sai Hill.
And so you know the White Lotus, you've been watching this season, right?
Yes, I have.
What do you think about the season being in Thailand?
It's good. hmm It's good to have that White Lotus in Thailand. Give opportunities for the Thai people to create more job and people will see in the whole wide world, what is Thailand all about.
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Certain part that, even though we travel, even though I am Thai, I born there and raised there, I haven't seen, that part in Thailand yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been to an island in Thailand.
Yeah.
So the characters in this season, do you have a favorite character so far?
I think the daughter of what his name, the family.
Yeah, Piper is her name.
Yeah, she is really bold. I like her.
Mm-hmm.
She go there to learn, for her educate for
Yeah.
her school, and I think it's neat that she go to the temple, by herself and ask her brother to go along.
Yeah.
But her brother is just there a little unknown. It just to follow the family, that younger brother.
Yeah.
But the older brother is all about fun.
The wrong kind of fun.
But the crazy guy with the girlfriend is another story.
Ooh, I know. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, he's a little crazy. And I know what gonna do it now. I think he want to get revenge about his dad and so talk about that. And I after the guy, the guard
Yeah.
and his friends, I know what her name.
Mm-hmm. Mook.
Mook,
Mhm.
Mook Chai. Mook is nice. I think it's gonna lead him to have a broken heart somehow.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah.
I think we agree on a lot of stuff. We also really like Piper. I think it's cool that she's like actually trying to learn about the culture, which is
Yeah.
nice. Everyone else is just too self-involved to care about that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mom. I feel like you did our job for us. Thanks for letting us call you.
Yeah. And when you walk out there, are you gonna tell him that I'm your mom, born and raised in Thailand?
Oh yeah, they know. All right, well, finish making your soup and we'll see you soon.
You want some?
No, I'm okay.
I have shrimp and the fish and a lot of vegetable I put in there. I know Matt would like to have some of that.
Okay, well.
Okay, I'll let you go.
All right, Mom. Thank you. Love you.
Bye, Mom.
Love you too.
Bye.
Have a good night, baby.
Thanks. Bye. Wow, wow, wow. What a treat. Well, we'll probably cut some of that out because she had a lot to say, but she
Let's
really.
just play that.
We don't need to talk about anything else
We don't
anymore.
need to talk. Just let that lady go.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
That was great. Thank you. Size Hot Takes.
Size Hot Takes. And just to make it very clear, she is our mom and she was born and raised in Thailand. So you must know.
You want to make sure that that's out there. Oh, man.
Well, thanks so much for listening to this episode. Come back next week, same day, same time, and we'll be talking about episode 4. And if you're not already watching and listening to our episodes on Severance, make sure you do that too. We've only got a few more episodes of this season left, and it is by far the best part of my week when those episodes drop. So
good. If you're complaining about this show moving slowly, I would say go watch Severance. You've got 7 episodes now to catch up on. You've got all of our podcast episodes to catch up on. You've got stuff you can binge. So once you're through Love is Blind, just hop back over Apple TV Plus and you have Severance.
So true, so true.
Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you to Sahil, our mother, for guest appearing in this episode. That was really fun. And we will catch you guys next week.
See you later.
Bye-bye.